Hey guys, this is Nina Perez, and this is Straight Talk, no sugar added. Thank you so much to being here with us. We are here to challenge and transform your thinking. And I couldn't think of a better person to have to do this with than Tony Lucero, of course. And he is to me a pro and like this activator of the light within you. He does all these amazing things, like he's a traveler and a teacher and an author and a visionary. He's a father, a musician, a student, and the best thing, he's the lover of life, right? So he's here to connect and assist those who are eager for discovery. And one of the best things I love about Tony is his energy, and he speaks energy fluently. So we are here to Tony about what that means. So Tony, a little bit before we started, I was telling you that the more conversations I'm having, the more I'm realizing that people are really starting to dig into energy and what energy means and why they're feeling this connection with people. You know, I always used to think that it was just me, like when you walk in a room and you can automatically feel if the room is going to be positive or negative, or like this tension in the air. You know that saying, oh, it's the tension in the air is so thick you can cut it. Is that energy? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, well, everything is energy. So everything. I mean, everything is an energy or frequency or vibration, right? So like a lot of people, like when they're in this great energetic space, then great energetic things happen. Mm-hmm. And the reason why, Nina, it's actually happening for you right now, because you're in that space. You're doing some energy work and you're learning about new things and new modalities and things like that. So when you put yourself in that frequency, you're going to be able to hear and see and feel the things that are in that frequency with you. Right. So it's kind of like you're tuning into a radio station and it's all cloudy. All of a sudden you hit it. All of a sudden, boom. Now I'm in it. Oh, I hear it clearly. And I hear the words.
Right.
I hear the drums.
That's a good way to explain it.
It's the same thing that with us humans, you're in this beautiful space energetically or frequency wise, where you're on this growth curve, right? You're learning new modalities. These new words are coming up along the frequency that you're in. And so therefore, that's why you're hearing it. You're really tuned in. So kudos to you, because they've always been there, except we had to get there. We had to tune in to that frequency to be able to understand, oh my gosh, there's other people talking about this. Kind of like when you buy a brand new blue something, blue BMW, let's say. And all of a sudden you pull out the parking lot and like, oh my God, there's a blue BMW. There's a blue BMW. There's another one. And you start to see that we're now tuned into that frequency of being, connected to something that's just right now in our space.
That's so true, right? When you're more aware, the more you notice. So before we get all into the nitty gritty, because this is already getting good, Tony, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
We were talking about my bio earlier, and it's just really crazy. It's like I've never been like one-dimensional or two-dimensional or even three-dimensional. I've always had things I've been working on, and at a young age, I always found myself like learning something really quick, and then doing that something, and then hitting a ceiling with that something, and then wanting to learn more, So I've always been wanting to try new things, do new things. So it seems like in my life, it's been like that. Once I got out of the Air Force when I was 23 years old, like every 5, 6, 7 years, I was on a whole different trajectory, taking along with me all the goodness of the previous 5 or 6, 7 years or whatever. And I dumped all the things I didn't like and kept all the things that I loved. And so it seems like, going from a musician to an author to a comedy stage hypnotist to a successful business owner to now it's crazy. I'm doing this wonderful thing that fuels me the most, which is coaching and empowering, kind of what you're doing, and sharing all this wisdom. And I'm doing it out on a ranch out here in Nebraska.
Right.
Now I'm a farmer / serving, energy frequency guy that helps people have breakthroughs. That's kind of what I am.
Do you feel like you always also like elevate and thrive in everything that you've tried?
Yeah. I'm very intentional. So when I do something, like I do something with the intention of seeing it to the end, or with the intention of getting as much as I can. And so in that space, when I'm in doing something, if you're in that frequency, like things happen, you see things, you feel things, you latch on to things, you learn things faster, versus like, oh, hey, I'm going to, here's the big word, try to do it. I'll try to do it on the weekends. And so when you're kind of in and out of a frequency or in and out of learning, or people go in and out of meditation, like for me, it's a everyday thing. I'm
Right.
never out of meditation. So every day I'm doing some type of meditation. You can't do this. And the quickest way you learn is when you get in it, like you be intentful and purposeful. And that's the quickest way to learn things. So it takes some people a year to learn, or when I learned hypnosis, 6, 7, 8 months to, feel comfortable to go on stage. Like I had this thing in 4 days. Like I got it,
Wow.
sense it, feel it, tried it, worked it nonstop 24/7, said I can do it. And I just did it. And next thing you're on a path,
Were you
and
always feeling that kind of energy even when you were in the Air Force? Or is that something
um
you kind of like learned as you,
my dog.
became an adult?
That's
Oh, that's
Louis, by
okay.
the
I
way.
have 3 dogs, so I'm good.
He
Oh,
loves
he's
being
cute.
he's a student. He's a student. What was really interesting about the military, when I was 17 years old, my mom was raising 3 kids by herself. And so I didn't want to say a burden, but I didn't want my mom to think about me. So I said, what can I do when I get out of high school? So I joined the Air Force. And interesting thing about joining the Air Force is when I got there, it really opened my eyes to a lot of things. Number one, I realized that I was a terrible follower. Terrible. Like I did not like people all up in my business saying, guess how you're going to look, guess what you're going to wear, guess when you can go home,
Mm,
guess when you so but it taught me a lot about self-worth and discipline and focus. I wouldn't change it for the world. That was the only time that I really energetically was more of like taking everything as it came and just kind of accepting everything and dealing with the regulations and all that. And when I got out, that's when everything shifted from. That's when I was like unleashed. That's when I said, okay, I've been like in an incubator, an
right.
incubation period for 5.5 years. Now it's time to discover what it is for me. And I realized that I was just so outspoken and so outgoing and so much energy that that's the space I need to be in. And I've spent my
Mm,
whole life in this space of frequency, in the space of energy, making sure I'm doing everything I can to maintain energy. Like it's the most valuable commodity that we have along with time is this thing called
right.
energy. So when somebody says they're tired, I'm like, how? You were tired last week when I talked to you. You were tired a month ago. It's like, how are you tired? Like, so
Right.
I have to help people with that. I have to help people show you, even like I'm almost 55, like at 55 years old, you can feel like you're 5
Right, right,
if
right,
you work, if you
right,
do the little stuff every single day, right? The little tiny things that you do every day.
right. And when you're talking about energy, you're not talking about just physical
Yeah.
energy, right? So can you explain to us a little bit about what you mean when you say, oh, you were tired last week or anything like that? So how do you help people with their energy? Because a lot of times we think more physical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm just exhausted because I worked a lot, but it's more than that, right?
Yeah.
It's more than that. So take us on that journey.
Yeah. So you just said something beautiful, right? So you're exhausted because you worked a lot. And that's why you're physically exhausted, right?
Mhm.
So what they coincide. You're exhausted because you work a lot. Are you working at a lot at a job that you truly enjoy, that
Mhm.
fuels you, that empowers you, that raises you, that encourages you, that inspires you? Or are you doing something just because?
Right,
Right.
right, right.
And so a lot of times people, when they do their work, they go, oh my gosh, work is so difficult. Work is so hard. I just want to go home on the weekend. I just want to kick it. I don't want to do anything. And I'm tired. I'm tired all the time. I'm not sleeping well. Well, you have to look at your life from an energetic standpoint. What in your life energetically
Mm,
is sucking that energy?
mm.
Where is energy being wasted? Mental energy. If people go, oh, my family's just a mess and we got to see my family this weekend. Well, that's so much energy that you're harnessing, and that energy, those issues show up in your tissues, and then you get
That's good.
tired, and then you get frustrated, and then you feel run down, and then you feel like doing nothing, and then you feel like resorting to getting in some type of addiction or something like that. So
Mm,
energy for me, yes, it's physical, but so much of the energy that I deal with is all mental, which causes the physical breakdown, which causes the physical either a breakdown or a breakthrough.
right,
So when somebody shifts their energy, the amount of energy they're wasting on X, job, relationship, the trauma from when they were 2 years old, whatever, when they release
right,
that and they deal with that, all of a sudden, poof, there's this freedom. Like the veil has been lifted, the chains have been broken. And now you go, oh my God, I can breathe. And then
right,
once you
right.
start breathing, then we start to go, what else do we need to remove energetically from your life? And then we start picking and choosing, and everybody's got blind spots. So I help people with their blind spots. We find these things, we decide if we want them, we get rid of them, and then in that space, all of a sudden you have freedom. You start
Wow.
to feel free, and all of a sudden your energy shifts, and now you want to start working out. And now when you look in the mirror, you don't see somebody that is disfigured, or you don't see somebody that's battered or bruised or traumatized or sick. You see somebody that's like beautiful and is ready for something change energetically, you know?
That's good.
It's a process though. It's a process.
Oh, it is. Danita says that's right. She loves this. So thank you, Danita. So when you are talking about, let's do a heavy one, right? Relationships.
Yeah.
That's a heavy one, right?
Mhm.
So if you're in a marriage or in a relationship where it is heavy, how do you then change your frequency? I don't know how to word this. How do you change your frequency without having to destroy the relationship? Does that make sense what I'm trying to ask? Yeah. How do you self-care with the frequency? Can you do that? Or
did you hear me talking today? Is that why? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I didn't. Were you?
Were you in
Did
my
you say
office
that?
when I was talking about this today?
Yes,
girlfriend?
I was.
No, it's very, very interesting when it comes to relationships. And here's why a lot of relationships are having issues and challenges is because me as a person, let's say you and I are in a relationship, right? I as a person am going through something. I don't know what it is. Maybe I hate my life. I hate my work. I don't like my health. I'm tired all the time. I've got something going on. Until I address what's going on with me from an energetic standpoint. Like I have to literally step back, step away and go, what am I not seeing? Is this a midlife crisis? Is this, am I not being fulfilled because I can't stand my job? I can't stand my boss. The fact of me going in there just crushes me. And so I'm bringing that energy home. Like, where is that for me? Right? Because when you and I got together, this is so funny. When you and I got married, it's like everything was cush, everything was beautiful, everything was wonderful. And then, life gets in the way. We get busy, we get pulled away from that connection. And then all of a sudden we lose our identity. And now it becomes more of I'm working at the office, it's a job. And I come home and this relationship's now a job. And so everything becomes heavy. This is when a couple's, especially an individual, has to sit back and go, I need a timeout. Not because I want to separate myself from you, not because I do not love you, not because I don't care about you, but I need to figure out what's going on with me. And I just want you to honor me while I do that. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know if I have to hire, a guru to help me learn how to breathe or a psychologist, but I just have to figure out what that is for me.
Yeah.
And just that act alone will shift that vibration, because the other person's going to go, okay, I'll support you in that. Hey, I recognize, yes, we have a challenge, so I will support that, and I probably need to do the same thing too. Just by you admitting that there's something off, that's half the battle. Right. And a lot of times when we're in a relationship that's bad, we have this knee-jerk reaction. When he comes home, when she comes, she says something, like we just immediately go there. And, we're like two cats fighting. And so when the decision is made that there's something going on at the house that's not right, it's like you really have to sit down with yourself. You need to figure out what that is. And then you need to go to that person, your partner, your significant other, and say, honey, you as well as I know there's something's not right. And I have work I need to do on myself. It's not you. I keep blaming you for everything. It's not you. Like, I need to see what's going on. And I just need your support as I do that. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it tastes like, but will you allow me to do that? Well, sure, honey. I love you. Sure. Yeah, whatever. You know what? I need to do something too. Maybe we just need to time out. Maybe we just need to go on a vacation. Maybe something to shift the energy. Right. And that shift will cause the reaction that most people are starting to look for. Unless obviously the relationship is based on something else. Yeah. Much deeper than that. But for the most part, we lose connection. My wife and I, sometimes we get really busy. It's not that we don't love each other, but sometimes we're like, we're bumping in the night and that's about it. Like, hey, how'd you get here? Like, because we're so busy. Right. But the reality is we have to recognize that and say, hey, we need a time out for ourselves, for me. And then we need to start that process. And we just kind of, sure. And sure enough, universe works fast. You can get back in the game real quick.
Is it possible to shift your energy if the environment doesn't allow for it? So let's say that your partner is not as open as you and I, Tony, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that I'll speak to be like, oh, that's just Lululemon's crap. I don't do that, right?
Yeah.
And my husband is actually very open, so I can always go to him and say that, and he's completely like, okay, babe. He might not be there like meditating and stuff with me or anything like that, but he will definitely support me 100%, but not everybody does. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if there's a way that we can shift our energy in spite of. Does that make sense?
It's
And then
yeah.
it's very hard, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. It's hard to heal. It's hard to heal in the environment that's hurting you, right?
Mm, mm,
So you have to do your part in that. And
mhm.
I've seen, probably like you've seen, I've seen many people outgrow
Yeah,
because the other person's not willing. And
yeah,
we have to, as humans, have to be okay with whatever that is, because at the end of the day, it is the happier that I am, the happier I can be for everybody else. So I have to, it is my duty, my responsibility to figure out, how do I get to a place where I have some type of peace and joy and love and happiness in my life? Because if I'm not that, then I might as well just punch out right now. I might as well just check out. And if my partner, my significant other, is not willing to go along, then I have to be okay with whatever the outcome of that is, without
right.
any expectation. Especially somebody that's been in a marriage for, my wife and I have been married for 20 years, but it literally feels like, I mean, she'll come running in here and give me a kiss, say, I love you so much, and just go back in her office. It's like we're still courting. Why is that?
Yeah,
Because I'm in that frequency and she's in that frequency.
right.
And so it takes, I don't want to say work, but it takes some practice to
Yeah,
understand when things are off, and be willing, with love and the right intention, to figure out how to navigate through what's off and fix it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes it's not as grandiose as some people think. Well, we need to see counseling. Well, we haven't even talked at dinner. Like, we don't even talk at dinner because you got your cell phone when we eat dinner. Well, let's
Right,
start there.
right,
Start
right,
small. Start baby steps. So, and that's what frequency is. It's
right,
like when you're let's go back to the radio. When you're on a radio station and I'm leaving my city and the station's all crunchy because I'm getting further away from the station, I don't go ramp like that on my thing and try to go from 98.6 all the way to 107.3. I'm
right,
going click, 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 just very gently
right,
to find the next frequency. Oh, okay, I like that one, and I'm there. So we
right.
don't have to go from zero to, all the way to the top to figure out what's wrong with us. Sometimes it's something so small. I just want you to put your phone down when we have dinner. Maybe
Right.
that's all it is.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe I just want you to shut your phone off when we go to bed, so that when I roll over, you're not on Facebook, or, I mean, I keep using social media, but I mean, I know I used to do it. My wife and I used to do it because
right,
we had a business that we were running. It's like we had to always be attached to our phone. We finally said,
right.
this is damaging energetically. Like, this is crushing us.
Yeah, yeah,
So baby steps. Sometimes you just finely tune this frequency, and you offer up an idea. Hey, honey, I've got an idea. I need to figure out what's going on with me. And because of me not being the best version of me, I really can't be the best version for you. So that's why there's probably a lot of this weird energy that's happening right now.
yeah,
So
exactly.
let me work on me. Let me work on me. Get off Instagram. Yeah.
That's right, Danita.
I love her. She's awesome.
She's funny. So okay. So I agree with you, and I feel like, a lot of times that's what we do try to do, is get from a zero place to like a 1,000, and it happens, and then you crash, right? So you go through this high and then you crash. And so I love what you said about you owning your stuff, and also having the support from your partner, family, friends, whatever, that can support that as well. Do you also feel like with work, like, let's just use work as an example, because a
Yeah.
lot of people are in jobs that they are kind of happy in, or maybe not even happy in, right? And they stay there because they feel the obligation.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a frequency that goes with that as well. And I think you were talking about it earlier, like, oh, I got to go to work. It's Monday. But I
Mhm.
think what happens to a lot of us, Tony, is that we're Monday is an okay day because we've had the weekend to kind of relax, and then Monday's okay. Tuesday, by Wednesday, we want to kill somebody. And then by Friday, we're glad it's the weekend. We
Yeah.
can't keep living our lives like that, right? So how do you keep your mind on a steady frequency so that you can make it through the week, but then also maybe have to shift out of this at some point, right? Like, you can't live your life like that all the time. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess
So
you can. It's just not fulfilling.
it's not. And a lot of the people that I work with are in that space where they're kind of, it's like a holding pattern. They're just like in a plane, just circling, just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
we're going to land, can I get home already? Can I just get home? So for me, what I tell people is, like, if you're one of those people that wakes up on Monday and you kind of go through the motions, and you get there, and it's the same old, same old. And by Wednesday, like you
Mhm.
said, somebody looks at me wrong. Oh my gosh, I'm going off. I'm going hard in the paint and we're going to go at
Right.
it. Right. So if that's the case, then you have to really ask yourself, is this it for you? And
Right.
me, probably just like you, we've asked this many times, like, is this all there is? And the
Mhm.
second I ask that, and I have a feeling, a smile that comes on my face, like, no, this is not all it. Like this is, then I know that I need to do something. So I've always had, and I'm going to encourage everybody that's listening to have a plan B. That's something that fuels you. If money was no object, Nina, if I was a genie, which I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm actually a genie, and I
Right.
granted everybody that's
I know,
watching
that's
this,
what I love about you.
if I granted everybody a wish, and I know what the wish is. So if I've granted
Right.
you one wish, you probably have a lot of things you want to shift and change in life. But if there was one thing that you could have, what would it be? And if you said happiness, if you said, I want to have, I just want to be doing something um, purposeful in my life. I just want to be whatever that is for you, then you have to ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now bringing me
Mhm,
that? And if
mhm.
not, how can I do that? What would it be? What job would it be? What career would it be? What passion would
Right.
it, passion project would it be? And then, so you go during the day and you do the thing. That's your suit up and your dress up day. You put your suit on, you're dressed up, whatever, and you go be an actor and action. And you go do that. You get through the day. You don't get inundated. You do what you're supposed to do, smile on the face. And then when it's done, you shut the switch off. And then you go into the next frequency, which is the frequency of discovering what that is for you. Like I always knew
Good.
that I was going to be a speaker, coach, trainer, facilitator, something like that, because that's what I love doing. And
Right.
so anything outside of that, I sold insurance for a minute. I'm like, oh my gosh, please somebody take me out of this. Like, can you call my boss? Can you fire me? I know I'm like this, self-employed 1099, but can you actually fire me? Cause I'd like that.
Right,
I'm
right,
so miserable right now,
right.
but sometimes we have
That's
to do what
so
we have
funny.
to do
Right,
just because we need to do it because the responsibilities, things like that. What most people are doing right now for their profession is not what they should be doing.
right.
It's the job they got excited about because they needed one for 2 weeks. They posted on Facebook, oh my God, I got hired. Everybody gives them high fives and loves. 2 weeks into it, they're going, what am I doing?
Right.
This is horrific.
Right.
So my lesson is frequency wise, know that that is a frequency. That's a frequency that's giving you a means to be able to give you some type of security, some type of something, but that's not who you are. And when you start to shift your behavior
Mm, mhm.
negatively, then it's time to start making decisions. It's time to ask, is this it? And when you start
Right.
asking, is this it? If money was an object, what would I do? Well, I'd be my next thing for me is I want to travel around the world. I want to take 12 people to epic vacations and do what I do with you. And when I'm doing training and helping and assisting and empowering, I want to do that, like, but all over the world,
Well, you
that's,
need to, like, put me on that list. I wanna be on that list,
we're
Tony.
going to Peru,
Yeah.
girl. We're going to go to Peru.
Ah!
So you just have to have a
Yes!
switch where you can shut it off, go boom, it's 5 o'clock. I'm on my way home. That's done. And then when you get home,
Yeah.
refuel, recharge, whatever that is for you, get that energy shifted, get that frequency moved, and then say, okay, what can I create? What can I work on?
Right.
That if I was to get paid at it, then I could eventually leave, my plan
That's
B.
good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good because I think that that's where we lose focus and that's where our frequency drops because
Yeah.
we are aggravated at the job, not realizing that's just your money making source right now. That's all that is. I tell people that all the time, and I have to tell myself that sometimes, right? You
Mhm.
just have to refocus. You got this. So let me ask you this: do you have like a scale or something that you use to know what somebody's frequency level is? Like somebody was talking to me about frequency and energy.
Mhm.
Do you think those two things are synonymous with each other, frequency and energy?
They're all one frequency, vibration, and energy. They're all one and the same. If everything
Okay,
is
that's
an
what I thought.
energy, everything
Okay,
is a vibration, everything's a frequency. So it's just a
okay.
word that makes people. If I'm high vibing, I'm high energy. I'm high frequency, right?
Right.
So it's one. It's just they all coincide. They're all related. I like
Mhm.
frequency because it's such a different word for people. We've always had, my energy's up, I'm vibing high, but when you say what is your frequency, because if everything's a frequency and emotion like crying is a frequency, like
Mhm.
why is somebody why are you crying right now? What frequency are you in that you're crying?
Right.
If and it takes on a lot less weight than if I say, oh, it looks like you're sad. It looks like you got, you're dealing with, issues again or something. That's
Right.
heavy. But if I say, hey,
Right.
your frequency shift, what's going on, honey? And now That just because I said it like that versus like, hey, why are you sad? How do I
Shift
know
your
you're sad
thinking.
if you're crying?
That's
How do I
good.
know if you're sad you're crying? You could be so elated, you know?
Right, right,
So frequency is just like it is what it is. There's no really attachment, there's no weight to it. It's like, hey, my dad used to yell at me. That was a frequency back in the day. I don't know.
right.
So if I said, oh, my dad used to hate me, he used to tell me every day I was worthless. He
Oh,
used to
that's
love
very different,
it.
Tony. Even when you
Exactly.
say it, it's very
Yeah.
different.
But it's the
Wow.
same thing. I had to learn, okay, that was just a frequency. It was a really badly tuned radio
Mhm,
station that for whatever
mhm.
reason I was stuck in for a while. A lot easier to be able to now pull myself out of it if I'm looking to heal myself versus going, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe he was right. And all these other layers that can be added to it.
Right,
It was just something he was going through like that. He didn't know how to raise kids. Took it out
right,
on us. He had a bad day
right.
at the office because he didn't love his job. So he took it out on us, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's their
So
internal dialogue, right?
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For
That's
sure.
really good, Tony, and you're right. I mean, just even in your voice, even in your frequency when you said those 2 things to compare, automatically you felt the different frequencies, and
Oh,
that's
sure.
something,
Yeah.
right? Because you were like, "Oh, he hates me," as opposed to, "Oh, that was the frequency." You see, that was just like a complete shift
Yeah.
just in that
Yeah.
sentence,
Yeah.
right? So if we did that in our lives, how much more impactful would that be?
Yeah, I mean, think if you're going through a radio station, you're going through every channel trying to find something, and that one's this. You go, oh, I don't like country, or I don't like this, or that's news, or it's the same thing. You just got to keep
Mhm.
going until you tune into it, and then you go,
That's
oh, okay,
good.
I love this song, and now
Right.
you're everything is shifted. Whatever was happening up until that moment, as soon as you found, you're like, poof, just like that, like magic. Oh, I love this
Mhm.
song.
Mhm.
And that's how it's really interesting. That's how easy it possibly can be for people if they're willing
Mhm.
to see a frequency and they're willing to understand that it just is what it is. And you have a choice. A choice is a frequency, but whatever choice is a frequency. So I have the choice to choose this radio station or that one, choose this frequency or that one, be
Right.
negative or be positive, be happy or be
Right.
sad, be energetic or
Mhm.
be depressed or be tired or be awake. I have that choice, and that's just a
Right.
frequency.
Right.
So I have to decide here, not so much here, but here, what is it? What is the frequency that I want to feel? And I want to feel happy and love and joy and juiciness and
Like
life.
excitement. Mhm.
That's what I want. And
Mhm.
so the second I notice that I'm not feeling that, I got to go, boop, I got to stop. I got to put my cell phone down. I got to go for a walk. I got to do meditation. I got to do something to go, oop, I don't like that. And
Mhm.
that's what I teach people. That's why I'm showing people how to recognize and be so observant, so tuned into self that the second somebody comes at you, guns are blazing, or like you said, walking into a room and you can just sense it,
Mhm.
you have a choice right there. Do I tune into this frequency and get sucked into it? Or do I tune in this other frequency and either try to shift or change it and or just leave altogether?
Mhm.
And you'll find as you go through life, if you're just in and out of your own frequency, it's like music. Like you just don't want to stop, you know?
What do you how do you guide someone that has been hit with something hard in life, right? Because not everything is going to be tuning into happiness all the time,
Oh,
right?
sure. Sure.
So say somebody, I don't know, lost a child or, something heavy like that. How do you help them tune out of constantly feeling that pain? Because that's very difficult, right? So do you believe in the grieving process? Is
Yeah.
that a part of it, part of the journey?
Yeah. There has to be. I mean, we're humans. So
Yeah, yeah.
we have to grieve however we do that. The question is, and the choice is, which again is a frequency,
Mhm.
how long do you want to be tuned
Right.
in and out of that? Right. So
Right.
somebody's a victim or something happens to you and you are 20 years later still talking about it or still sharing it. Who's the victim? You're
Mm.
still caught yourself. So if, like, for example, a death in the family, we all had people that are closest. I had a few of my relatives. In fact, I'm going to a funeral tomorrow, like people that have passed, knowing that life is a frequency, and I have to make peace with knowing that it's part of the process. It's part
Right.
of me learning something. You and I were talking about this last time, where you and I had this ability to boom, flip everything and see the positive or the
Yeah.
lesson in it. And
Right.
so if we can do that, if we can see the lesson in everything that happens around us, including death, including somebody getting sick, including my brother committing suicide, at 19 years old,
Right.
like all
Right.
this has a place for something. that I need to feel, to experience, to learn from, to grow from.
And that's so good.
Death is part of that. The death of a child before they're born, or 6 months into it, something happens, or whatever. We have to just like, okay, we have to grieve. We have to, many times get mad, get sad, then glad. It's usually kind of like the process, or we get mad, like, why is this happening? We get very sad, and then then it comes a point where we're glad, like, at least I was part of this person's life for a period of time, and we can then figure out how to navigate the rest of our lives with this new truth. It's going to happen.
Right.
The more work
I'm
you do on
glad you said that.
yeah, the more work you do on yourself, that I don't want to say the easier it gets, because it's never really easy. But I have found myself being always the strong one in the family when something happens. It's because of the work that I've done. It's because of the truth that I know about. Okay, it's not that COVID, as you and I talked before. Like, COVID is a horrific. It's terrible. However it started, whatever. The reality is there is some goodness, a lot of goodness, amazing things that have happened because of COVID that we're not, a lot of people are not focusing in on. Everybody's focusing on the money and this and the shots and that. Like, okay, but there's a bunch of other people that are focusing on the beautiful stuff that's happening because of it. And they're like, oh my God, thank God COVID happened, because I got to do this, or I started this business, or I started this. I've had the time freedom to spend with my family, which I've never done in 15 years. Right. So we have to be able to switch our filter, and frequency allows us to do that. How am I feeling right now? I don't like it. Then switch it. How do I do that? Right. I don't know. Let's just keep going like this. Let's turn the music up louder. Let's shut the cell phone off. Hey, I read a book on meditation. Maybe try that. I don't know, but we have to figure out what it is for us to help us do that.
We got to connect with Tony is what we got to do.
We got to connect with me. Like,
we got to connect with
Tony. I've been through it all. I've been through, my mom's been married, divorced a few times. I've been through a divorce. I've been through bankruptcy. I've been through the loss of, I've been through suicides. I've been through an alcoholic person. I get it. So I'm versed in the subject of trauma, which is a frequency.
Right.
So if you are in a space where you're just kind of, I don't know, like, what's next for me, then you got to reach out. You got to follow your heart and just reach out and go, okay, I don't know what I don't know.
To talk to you. Exactly. I love that. I don't know what I don't know. Right. Yeah. And I think that's why we need to be more open. And I'd like to talk to you about that, Tony, because I know that you have stuff that you're working on too, to help people live at a higher frequency. And that's why I wanted you on here, because I just trust you. I follow what you do and all that. And I love what you do. You're very authentic and very real. And I love that. But you're also very good at connecting with people at an emotional level as well. I had spoken to someone who, they are also, they say that they do a lot of with frequency work and energy work and whatever. But when the question was asked, well, what do I do when my family isn't really supporting me? Just leave them. And I'm like, that's not the right answer. At least it wasn't the right answer that I thought it should have been, because that person was talking about their spouse. And you can't just make a blanket statement like that. Oh, they're bad energy, leave them. No, that's not how this works, right? Like, you have to work through stuff. And I love that you gave that answer, because it shows how authentic and real, and how you've already been through some stuff. So you know that there's sometimes things, a cost to things,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And just owning your stuff is a big cost, right? Because you got to sit there and really look at yourself. So I would love to hear about what it is you're creating and doing right now that serves my audience, please.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks for those nice words too. One of my truths, there's this exercise I do to help people really hone in on, things that are important to them. They're non-negotiables, let's say, right? So, so once you find those, if you just stay in these 5 little beautiful things, then good things will happen. The second we deviate, or the second somebody comes in that disrupts one of these 5 things, then we have to know what to do when somebody does, right? So if one of my things is happiness, if I start doing things just because, and they're not bringing me happiness, am I truly being true to myself?
Right.
And so if I can say, no, I'm not, then I should not do that. Like, I should be able to tell that person, hey, no, I don't want to go to the zoo just because I have this thing with animals being held captive. So you guys have a great time. I have to be okay with that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's honoring myself. So I help people with these, discovering what that is. But there's 2 things I'm really passionate about. One thing is called my 5 pillars of purpose. And for people that are kind of like in a holding pattern, maybe they have got some success in business, maybe maybe they don't. maybe they've been asking themselves, God, what should I be doing with my life, or what my purpose is? Like the 5 pillars of purpose is exactly what it's 5 weeks long, and it helps you every week discover and get closer to exactly what that is. So by the end of the 5 weeks,
That's
you go,
good.
get out of my way. I got this, right? So
Right.
it's intense in a good way. Like you're going to be able to pull back the layers of the onion and see yourself and be true to yourself. So you can go,
That's good.
wow. So that's one
Mhm.
thing. And that's I've had that for years, and hundreds of people have gone through it, and it's been amazing. But the thing I'm working on now is how to get someone using a few different modalities and or daily practices to literally shift their life forever. I'm all about speed. I'm all about things that work like this, because you know as well as I know, if it doesn't work like right now, like I don't know if I should meditate, because it's like it didn't work. I meditated for 6 minutes and nothing happened. Like I never saw the Dalai Lama, and I got scared and whatever. So
It's like me. I do a couple of sit-ups. I'm like, why didn't I lose weight? What happened?
yeah.
Okay, I give up.
So I've been, my whole goal is to take all this stuff and figure out a way to bring it in a way, number one, that resonates, makes sense. And so by you saying that I have the ability to do that, that's kind of one of my gifts that I've really been working on, is how do I connect with people so that people surrender, trust, let their guard down a little bit, let go, and just receive. And then when you're able to do that, then magic can happen. So this half day workshop, I don't know, workshop, I got to figure out a different name than workshop. This fun shop that I want to do is going to be literally, when you come in, you're going to come in one way and you're going to be spit out the other way. Like, get out of my way. Got this.
Right. That's
the
awesome.
conversation that you don't want to have with that person, you're going to do it with love, and you're going to just get it out there so that you can create a space for something else wonderful to happen. If we're carrying a bunch of trash with us that's showing up in our issues, our tissues, then if we start doing that, how can we have the life that we desire if we're just walking around? I call it mulling around in our feces, is what I call it. Just like this, everywhere you go, it just
That's a
stinks.
great way to express. Yeah, listen, that's a great way to express it.
Yeah.
I got the visual. That's
Yeah,
good.
like, it's just so stinky. Like, I want life to be delicious. I want yummy and tasty, and like, oh my God, what's next? You have to be willing to surrender and trust, know what you don't know, be accepting to like just going along for it, doing the work. And then in doing so, once everything gets lifted, you start going, oh my gosh, why was I holding on to what George told me in college? Why was why am I letting a bankruptcy from 25 years ago, because of a weird circumstance, because of why is it still affecting my ideas surrounding money? This vibration I have around money, So we have to help people through that process. And it's actually easier than most people think, but they've got to get to the point where they're going, I'm ready. Enough is enough. I'm ready. Take these chains. I know you have the key, and let's go. And then once that happens, it can happen that fast. Because we're humans, we're resilient, we're survivors, we're all these beautiful things, but we got to be ready. Otherwise, it's going to be just like one of those things. Oh, I work with this guy, and no, it didn't work. Or I work with this lady and bought this ebook, and nothing happened. Like, no.
You crack me up, because that's so true. That's so true. So the 5 pillars, the course that you have, is that like online, or is that live, or how is that?
It's going to be live. So I want to do, I haven't done it live in a while. It's been recorded, but I'm like, there's a new frequency, there's a new energy, because of what everything's happened, obviously, in the last 4 or 5 months, where life is getting back to something that recognizes that we remember. So I want to do it live. Just because there's the engagement and the questions and answers, fantastic. And it's better. So that's going to start July 12th is the first class.
Oh, okay.
If anybody's interested, they can hit me up on Instagram or whatever, Facebook, and then I'll get information to them. So that starts, and it's 5 weeks. And then the other class is going to start in July too as well. It'll be a half day. There'll be some treats in there. You can probably see some of my sound equipment back there. I'm going to teach people how different sound, not the sound, not, Shania Twain or, those type, but like a different frequency can raise you and keep you in a beautiful, just flowing state. So I got to teach people this, because until they experience it and hear it and feel it, they don't know. Why am I always in a bad mood? Well, you're in a bad mood because you listen to the radio, because the radio's at a certain hertz, at a certain frequency. And that's why everybody sounds the same. All the beats sound the same, because everything is the same. It's all recorded. So if we shift the frequency that you're listening to, and all of a sudden now you're like, man, this is good. And you can feel it in your bone. Like, we have to teach people this.
Right.
That's good. So that's what this workshop's going to do. So
Okay.
if somebody's interested in that, they can reach out to me. It'll be sometime in like the middle of July. It's ready to go now. It's just I want to just make sure that we have time to promote it and all that good stuff. I want a nice
Yeah,
big
yeah,
broadcast.
and I wanna help you promote it too, so,
Aw.
make sure that you send me the a link and all of that really, so
Okay.
that I can put it on all the posts because 'cause I'd love
Okay.
to. I think people need to do this, right? I think I mean, why would I have you here otherwise? I
Yeah.
think it's because like, again, because I trust you and I love what you have to say because you're really trying to get people to that next place, and a lot of us are stuck sometimes in areas that we don't need to be. I mean, it's just like you said that it's easier than we think it is, right? That we can do it that fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people sometimes call me insensitive because of that,
Yeah.
you know? But
Yeah.
it's because if I see someone, if I'm coaching someone and I see potential, we don't have time to play games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, this is what you need to do. This is why you need to do it. Are you doing it?
Yeah.
Hello? Are you doing it?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just how I work. That's why it's straight talk, right?
Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's the
Tony,
same
we
with me.
can't
Like
keep
when
people
somebody
stuck.
says something, I say, look, I love you. Can I say something right now? I love you though. I want you to know I'm saying this, what I'm about to say with
Yes,
so much love because I want you to get this. I want you to feel it, but I want you to know that I care about you. But I'm going to say this and you need to hear it. Can I say it? Yes.
right,
Blah, 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 blah. And I say it and I'm
right.
like, oh God, thank you. Yeah.
Right. What probably would have like destroyed them at another level. But I
Exactly.
think you're right, Tony. And one of the things that you do well is that you can communicate well. You're a good communicator. So that's always going to help people, right? Because
Yeah.
it's better than somebody just coming right at you all nasty to tell you about yourself. You could probably say the same thing, but you're going to say it at a different frequency. And so they're going to receive it differently, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Thank
that's
you.
important.
My favorite word for this year has been intention. And so my
Mhm.
intention when I create something, my intention when I'm working with someone, whether it be in a group environment or whatever, it's like my intention is always going to come from my five truths. And those five truths I hold sacred. So as long as I'm in alignment with that, whatever I'm saying is going to have much more of an impact. People are going to know that I'm authentic because I'm
Mhm.
not only just saying something, like the things I say, like I'm doing them every single day and I've been doing them every day for 35 years, you
Right.
know?
Right.
And the thing, if I learn something, I will test the new thing I'm learning before I unveil it. Like this new breath that I just been working on, like is just, my wife did it last night. She's been seeing me do this breath. It's very simple. It's very profound. It's kind of funny actually when you do the breath. And she did it last night. She's like, are you freaking kidding me? Like that is the most amazing modality you've ever done. I go, I know. And I'm going to teach that to the world. I'm going to teach it because it's
That's awesome.
this
That's
fast,
really
this
great.
quick, and it can take and shift you and put you somewhere else after one breath. And so this is what I want to bring to people, but I'm going to test it. I'm going to try to break it
Mhm.
before I
Mhm.
bring it to
Mhm.
people. And so when people get stuff from me, it's legit. Like it's not like something, oh, I think it works. No, this stuff works. And I spend hours and hours and hours on this mat, on this floor, working and doing all the things, playing these notes, doing this, doing the meditation. Like I'm,
That's
so
amazing. That's
very,
why your
very
dog
real.
wanted to be in the room. Your
That's
dog wanted to feel the energy.
that's why Louis,
Yeah, he's out.
he's out. I mean,
So, Tony, before I let you go,
yes.
I do want you to give us like all of your handles where we can find you
Okay.
because I know that people are going to be watching this and a lot of the people that follow Straight Talk, they know that I only bring people on here that I choose to bring on here. I don't just bring people on here. And so you are definitely one of my high choices to bring on here. I adore you. So if you can just let everyone know where to find you and where to find your programming and all of that stuff, please.
Yeah. So something I'm really excited about, I really never had. I have a website. I've never, all of my business that I've gotten over the years has all been through word of mouth. But I just felt like, I want to do one. So TonyLucero.com is my new website.
Oh, see, I didn't even look for it because you didn't have it last
I know
time.
it's
So proud
actually,
of you.
I've seen some great websites in my day, but this could be the most amazing website ever created by man. So I'm just kidding. But
Okay.
anyway, TonyLucero.com. So I'm very, very proud of it. And then obviously on Instagram, I am Tony Lucero on Instagram, and then just Tony Lucero on Facebook. So it's either I am Tony Lucero, Tony Lucero. You can find me. But
Okay.
Instagram's easy. My website, you can hit me up on there. You can see the programs I have. And then, yeah, I'm easy.
Oh, thank you, Danita. I know. Isn't he amazing?
Aw.
Thank you, Danita. He is amazing. And you're welcome. I love doing these kind of interviews, and I love having you here, Tony. I'd like to have you here again if you are willing to come back on at some point because you're just so full of good energy or good
Well,
frequency.
I will under one condition.
Sure.
You come on my show.
I would love to.
Perfect. Done.
Anytime.
It's a date. Cool.
Anytime. Yeah. Oh,
Good.
kidding me? Yeah.
Let's do it.
That's easy. What is this? What is this? Yes.
55.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep. He's beautiful.
But so you guys have heard it here. Tony is amazing. So make sure that you guys follow him, okay? Because this is going to change your life. And he has this the program that he was talking about coming out. And so if you want to shift your energy and like just take your game to a whole nother level, I highly recommend that you get on there. And it is TonyLucero.com, because we got a website. And then you could go, and I am Tony Lucero. I know that's on Instagram, definitely, and on Facebook, Tony Lucero. But you can, I'm sure you can go get all of your handles too on your website, right?
Yeah, it's on there. Yep.
Yeah. Are your courses and all stuff on there too?
There's information about them, so you can just click on the bottom and say, I want to connect with you. I love doing a little 30-minute introductory call with people. Like somebody click, hey, I like to hear their story, and then recommend what's best for them. Because I have so many different things. I might say, oh my gosh, I feel this would be a great thing for you to do, or this would be great for you. So yeah, I'm all about connection. So you're not going to get an operator. You're not going to get, funneled through something. I don't even have a funnel. But you'll get to talk to me, and then I'll find out where you're at. And if I can serve whoever, then I'm going to do it. That's my purpose. And that's me being my own genie saying, Tony, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? I want to serve people. That's it.
Right.
So I'm
it's
doing
so simple, right? It's so simple and so beautiful, and such a great gift at the same time.
Yeah.
So thank you, Tony, so much for being here. And thank you guys for joining us today. Make sure that you comment, subscribe, share this video, because there's a lot of people out there who really love energy and frequency. And Chris Ross, you are one of them. Thank you, Chris. He is like an emotional intelligence energy speaker. This guy, he's amazing. Yeah, he's part of a podcast community called Wingject, and he is really like on it. Love this guy. So Tony, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. And I would love to be on your show. Just let me know when, and we'll do it. We'll do it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye, everybody.
You. Bye.